Hello, I'm Jennifer with Soul Clarity Coaching. Today's video, I wanted to take you outside and go out to my garden and show you what I've been doing out there. So it is January, and when I tell people that I can't wait to get out in my garden, they all say, but it's January, there's no gardening to be done. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot in mine to be done. So I was really happy today to get out and do it. And I'm going to share it with you because, well, I want to share. So anyhow, my garden, I'll tell you right now, I'm not the best gardener. And it's all a learning thing for me. And right here, if you can see this mess in my background right there, me and my camera. Okay, this mess, this is pretty much what it looked like all the way across my garden space here. Okay, all of this pretty much looked like that. It was a mess. This still needs to be cleaned up and stuff, but it's actually not garden space. It's got paving tiles underneath it because there's access points and stuff like that to our home. So anyhow, this, you can see now I'm quite proud of this beautiful soil. Is dark and rich composty soil, turned over, and I pulled tons and tons of weeds and things out of it today. We saved our chives from last year. We repotted them. My son did that for me. And then I've got a couple things left in here. Last year I grew a lot of herbs and stuff in here. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do in the space this year, but making some plans on it. The reason why I wanted to show this to you is because whenever we work with nature, it's really important to connect and feel the soil and feel what Mother Earth has for us. Just hold on one second. All right, so I'm back. I had to pause my video as neighbors come up to say hello. They see you outside doing something and they got to come say hello. So anyhow, I am back and totally lost my train of thought. But anyhow, I'm back here in my garden showing you my beautiful garden here and talking about the soil. So my experience today in working with my garden, as I was saying, especially this side of my garden was really heavy with lemon balm. Actually, I want to say a weed, but it's not. It's lemon balm, which is a beautiful plant, great for protection and transforming negative energy and stuff like that, emotional energy especially. So it's a really cool plant and it smells wonderful. It helps keep mosquitoes away. Excellent. Last summer when we were doing fires here in our background in the backyard for the full moon ceremonies, we would pick fresh lemon balm and put it in our fires to help keep the mosquitoes away and also to help transform negative energy and bless our intentions that we were putting out there for the evenings. So lemon balm is a really good plant. I really love it, and I will be planting more of it on my property. But in this space, it had really taken over. I've actually dug it out 3 times from this space to try and transform this into more of a vegetable garden is what I want it for. And the lemon balm always comes back. No matter what I do, it comes back in this space. And so that's when I looked it up here recently, and I was like, oh, that makes sense as to why it's in this particular corner of my property and over here, and why it's so hard to get rid of. This particular corner of my property actually has pretty good, interesting history to it. And it's in a funny position. So the way the front of my house is, the road comes and goes past it, and it's sort of a passing, right? But the energy doesn't really smack into the house. But coming from this direction, there has been a lot. So I'm in a valley, I'm up on the mountains from a valley, and the river comes down from this direction, and brings with it a lot of energies and water, emotional energy. There's also underground water here that I know quite deep down. So there's underground water here that also water carries a lot of emotion, a lot of emotional movement. So lemon balm helps deal with that, right? There's also a congestion of it in this corner. When we built here, we had to do a lot to protect it as well. This is actually the heaviest part of my house that settled after we built it. So anyhow, so this direction we have the river coming down, which brings a lot of energy. We also have this is sort of when the start of the community condenses as it comes down the valley, is just down in the lower land, like down at the bottom of the mountain here. It starts to get more dense. And in recent years, they have done a lot of clear cutting. There's been a lot of house building, and a lot of clear cutting of the land. And that has actually stirred up a lot of energies around here. And all that energy is coming up into this and hits this corner of the house. So it is the house that kind of needs the most protection. It does catch the morning sun. It's east facing, so it does catch morning sun, which is beautiful. I love mornings and the energies of the morning. So that does help cleanse it. But it's still, yeah, it deals with a lot of energy. So there's also a subdivision being developed behind our property. And this land has been under development for almost 20 years now. A lot of the soil's been turned over. It's gone bankrupt numerous times. And it's slowly developing. There's a few houses in it now, but it's been a slow development. A lot of problems. Well, it is, so that's all the clear cutting in the building and everything that's going on there. When all that happened, we really noticed a shift in the energies in the land here. And that's because we are getting a lot of, the land has been disrupted. And our soil, so if you look at actual soil, I'm going to take you over here and I'm going to show you, just touch a little bit of dirt. Can I arrange this to show you dirt? See, soil. You can see I've got leftover plants in my soil still. Soil actually carries life and death in it of all of our history. So in this is all the blood, sweat, tears, decay, new life. Everything has come out of this. This is like the building blocks of our earth. It's right here in our soil. And our soil actually carries a lot of energy signature of what the land has been through. So I kind of think of it, it's like the blood of our history is held right here in our soil. And so when we disturb land, that energy is released and it's brought up to the surface. And so, and I mean, land has been developed in the last 50 years, or maybe 60, 70 years, back to after post-World War II, land development became huge, right? And a lot of land on Earth has been disturbed. And all that historical energy that has been, all that blood, sweat, tears, life, death, growth, everything that has been in our soil, those energies are being released and surfaced. This is why we are having so many memories of history, because it's actually coming from our soil. Mother Earth is releasing it. And that's what happened behind my property. Is the soil, so much soil has been moved and the memories have come to the surface. And one of the things that has been released there is a lot of the Aboriginal history of the land. So I do know a fair bit about my land. All right. I know that in this corner of my house, in this corner of my property here, there was an old cabin that had when we first moved here, we used to see them in spirit. They was a man and a woman that were here, and we often saw them in the front yard and around, and we certainly have felt their presence here many, many times. I've moved them on. Once I learned how to do that, I did move them on. But, and I did some research in the area, and my dad actually went and met with some of the older neighbors and found out what the history was here as to who that was. And it turned out it was a war bride, from what I understand, her and her son. And I actually think her son may have had some mental illness. I get that feeling from him. And so a lot of their energy is in this ground. And she was a very sad and very unhappy woman as well, because she had left everything. She's what they call a war bride. So she was, the mail order bride, right? And she left everything behind and didn't have the communication back, because this is quite old. And anyhow, so that's the energies that are here. That part I knew about, and I've moved it on and cleared a lot of that. But then trucks going by. I also brought in, so where my house sits, we brought in 200 dump trucks of soil fill, A lot of it is clay. I actually know where the soil comes from. So this is an interesting thing. When we move and relocate soil, we bring the history and the memories out that's held in that soil to the new space. So we disturb it and bring it to the new space. And so I do know where this soil comes from. And I haven't actually done a lot of history to that area. And I want to do some more research. That's one of my goals this year, is to do a little bit more research on it and find out what the history of the soil that's under my feet is. So that's there, as well as the soil that I've brought in for my planters here. I don't have as much information on that. I think that's I got it from I brought it in from a company. It is organic. It is there's shouldn't be any chemical residues or anything in it. At least that's what I tried to purchase. But I don't actually have the history to it, so that's kind of interesting. I put a lot of blessings into it. And the land, so there's that land. And then this is an area that did have some logging and mining. This is over here in this, let's see if I can show you here. Go up, see this beautiful cedar in my background there? There she is. This is our beautiful cedar tree. We love her. She's the oldest, I believe. We're pretty sure she's the oldest on the property. If not the oldest, then she's certainly one of the grandmothers of the property. And we love her very dearly. She's got beautiful energy on her. And anyhow, there used to be a lot of old growth trees on this property that were logged out of here, and the loss and pain of that I can feel as well when you tap into it. There's that. But this was also hunting ground for multiple tribes. There is a Aboriginal couple on this property. They're kind of a Romeo and Juliet relationship, and I've talked about them in the past as well. There's other videos about them. They are my Aboriginal Romeo and Juliet. And they actually, when we first were here, they were very upset with us being here. They love the kids, but they didn't like us having built here, and they really started connecting and reaching out to us to let us know that what was going on here was wrong. And so they really worked to get my attention whenever there was a lot of movement in this development behind us. They really worked. And as I opened up spiritually and tuned into them more, it tuned into the energies more, they really started speaking to me more and asking. And now they work with me. So now they work with me. They love doing the full moon ceremonies with the drumming group that we have here. They love the cacao ceremonies. The mantra singing was a new one. They love that. So they're really enjoying that I'm bringing that kind of stuff to the land. And I've also worked with them to release some of the sorrow that they experienced on this property. But they have crossed over. I've worked a little bit with them on that regard, but they do still like to visit here. So they are of the light, but they do still like to visit here and work with us. Lovers. I can feel them. They're just fantastic. So what was I going to say? Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. So when I got out here and I started dealing with the soil and I started pulling up the weeds and the debris and everything that was in this ground that's here, I noticed I started picking up a lot of anguish and anger. And I have done a lot of work to release the anger that I had, because I was a very angry person when I was younger. I've worked a lot to release that anger, and I feel like I'm in a really good place with it. Yes, I still have anger that comes out, but now I recognize it for what it is. I recognize it for, I check in and see, has my boundaries been crossed? Is this surfacing from the past? Whatever. And I don't have that sitting with anger inside of me like I used to, just waiting to explode at something. I'm pretty peaceful. So for me to feel it when I was out here working today, I was like, this is weird. I haven't been feeling this way. And as I was working, I noticed that the energy was very aggressive towards male energy, towards progress. I don't like that word, but civilization, development, the destruction. And it was a lot of the angers I was having was looking for support but not having it, looking for everything, have to make everything more difficult, and uh, the just that anger at being left on your own and not respected and not heard, and just taken advantage of, right? And those were the energies that were coming up to me, and I'm like, whoa. I stopped and I was like, what's going on here? And I tapped into the earth, and I realized, it's probably got something to do with the earth, right? Because that's the plants that I'm working with, the soil that I'm working with, and the plants that I was digging up. I think I said that earlier in this video. It was the lemon balm with the negative emotions and everything to it. So that was what I was digging up in this area. That's what's very rooted here, and so it was bringing these emotions up, and so it really tapped me in. And so I asked the land, and the land told me that it's got so much anger left in it. It's holding those energies, and it needs to be released. It needs to be blessed and cherished and thanked and held in regard for the giver of life that it is, and so I did a lot of work around that, and I've got more work to do, but it really brought to the surface how much the land we live on affects us. Now, people who live in sky rises, they're so separated from the land, right? They're in the sky. There's no grounding to them, and they need to bring that into their homes, where bringing plants into the home, bringing dirt into the home, and appreciating that dirt, and giving respect back to that dirt, and giving love back to it, and getting yourself out of those towers and into the soil, right? Feel the soil on your skin. The soil is so rich with minerals and nutrients and life force energy that it just freely gives to us without any expectations in return. Okay, it's there. And we need to bring that into our lives more, and we need to be grateful for it. Grateful to the Mother Earth that nurtures and lets us grow and everything, and having respect for it, tapping into that masculine energy of ourselves and being that purpose driven, the warrior driven, that warrior side of us. That's all masculine energy. We need to tap into that and be more stewardships of the earth, be in harmony with the earth, be more sustainable with the earth, be more and this is in our personal lives. And I'm not going to use this video to talk about the whole climate change, population issues, and all that. I'll say that I don't agree with mainstream opinion, and I'll leave it at that. But this is more on a personal, your home basis. This is, what are you putting into your body? This is a great thing to think when you eat. How close are you eating to the soil that it came from? Has it been through a bunch of manufacturing? Has it been flash frozen? Has it been, is it processed? Like, where does it come from? Do you buy from the local farmer when you can? Like, where is your food coming from? Because that has a great big health effect on you. All right. And it's really a call for us to go back to connecting with the earth, connecting our physical life with the earth. And so I invite you to do that. Try and eat a little bit more closer to the earth. I'm going to do more videos on this, as my big focus this year is to bring balance back into my life. I feel like I've really been out of balance for some time now. And part of that balance is connecting with my health and my body and my earth and where I am, and getting really grounded in that connection. So again, that's the garden. That's what we eat. Hopefully I'll do some cooking videos or something. I have a terrible kitchen for that type of thing, but I would love to do some. And I am moving back towards my plant-based vegan days. I have left those behind, but they are always in my heart. I always tend to go back to that. And again, this year I'm going to go back to that a lot more, and be more connected with my body and more connected with my health. So I hope to make some more videos on that. I hope you like my videos, share my videos, subscribe to my channel, follow me, and support my work. I really appreciate that. If I can be of any help to you, don't hesitate to reach out and book a discovery session and have a chat with me. I'd be happy to. I do get flooded with stuff, so if you're not getting, if you're trying to message me through social media, that's pretty hard because I get a ridiculous amount of like, I really ask men, like, what is your problem here? Like, I stop trying to get a date from me on Facebook and Instagram and whatever. Like, just stop. I don't know. Anyhow, that's a whole different thing. But sending an email or booking a discovery session are the greatest ways to get in touch with me. So I invite you to do that. And of course, share my videos and support my work. I really appreciate that. And if I see you around town, say hello. And if you've got an event that you want me to come speak at, I'm pretty happy to come out and speak with you too, on various different subjects. I love talking about the Akashic Records because, you know, people don't realize that the Akashic Records the Akashic. Akash is the ethers. It's the energy that's all around us. Okay, the Akashic Records is tapping into a particular energy signature that is in the Akash. That's what it is. So tapping into my land, I'm really actually tapping in to the Akashic record of my land and trying to heal it and clear it and everything. Actually, there's one other thing I'll just quickly talk about. I have done a lot of land clearings here. I have quartz crystal and obsidian placed in every corner. I've got energy grids placed around here, connected to be recharged by the moon, which is why I love my full moon ceremonies. And I've got stones in my house in particular places to move energy along in that. I've got an indoor fountain. I've got quite a big indoor fountain actually, to help move some of the energies in there. So I do work with the elements to move energies around, and there needs to be more of that. Most recently, I had a new one come through. I was shown how to connect. So above, I connect a pyramid grid that is connected with divine source that brings this shield of light energy around my property to uphold higher vibrations. And recently I was shown how to create a Lemurian grid underneath my property through the earth, connecting to the heartbeat of the earth, and we're bringing that into upwards, right? And I think that's why I had such a strong pull to come out here and work in my garden today, make this video, bring an awareness, because Lemuria is our ancient history. All the soil on the earth goes back to that. All of us, our histories, a lot of us go back to those Lemurian Atlantean days and the history there. And that's what is being healed and played out right now in our society, is the lowering of the Lemurian society and mixing with the Atlantean, the rise and fall of the Atlanteans. There's actually 7 Atlantean history civilizations that rose and fall, and those are where the original wounds come from, and that's a lot of what was being cleared out, the energies that are being cleared out right now as the earth ascends. So doing that Lemurian pyramid grid underneath and into the soil and connecting to Mother Earth, I'm really hoping to transform this land this year, even more so than I have in the past last year with all my ceremonies and everything, and I will be continuing that. Anyhow, maybe I'll even film one this year. That'd be fun. I'm sure that my friend who leads us in the drumming group, I'm sure she'd be into that. So hopefully we'll do more of that. Anyhow, I'm going to do more videos that are fun and getting you outside and showing you a little bit more about my life. And I hope you enjoyed your garden tour with me. And I will keep you up to date on the progress with it. And I love you all. And what a great time to be alive. Mwah.